Well, hello again. Here we are for another weekly hot takes of the financial market with Kari Rae and Keelan. I am Kari Rae Davis with Kari Sells the City and Keller Williams.
And I'm Keelan Harvey with the Harvey Home Team and Highlands Residential Mortgage.
Awesome. Well, Keelan, it has been another week for us in the Northwest. And I did hear this week that there have been some changes with Fannie Mae. And I was hoping that you would detail that for us.
Absolutely. There's been a couple changes. Technically, it was last week. I'm late to the game at this point, but I don't see a ton of duplex sales going on right now. But for you investors, the reality is, I'm pretty excited to say that conventional loans back in the day, COVID specifically, you'd have to put 15% down on 2 units, which was kind of a bummer. FHA, you could put less down. So it wasn't like a limiting factor, but the reality is conventional loans, duplexes, you can put 5% down. So that's very exciting.
I mean,
And
that's a
then
big deal.
it's a big deal for those
Yeah.
investors. I mean, to leverage your money, and for those investors specifically, yeah, it's a huge deal because now you can, that's a 10% difference in down payment is huge.
Right.
So previously it was 15% down on a conventional loan for 2 units and then 25% down on 4 units or more. So significant down payment now has changed. They're loosening up a few things, and now we're down to 5% down for a duplex. So for you investors out there, opportunity awaits. Get out there.
Well, and I think that's exciting because I know that before I purchased my home, I really wanted an investment property that had another unit attached to it. And I ended up getting a single family home for myself, which worked out perfect. But I really did want to get a duplex was my original plan. And then also when I was in New Orleans for that short amount of time, that was one of my goals was to buy a duplex down there to live in one side and rent out the other, which is still something that I have in my mind. So hearing that the possibility of getting into duplex for only 5% it's huge because I do have some clients right now that are looking for duplexes. So I know that when I saw that come across, I was really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a finance nerd, and if you can get it, if you're happy with if you can get a duplex and rent the other side out, guys, this is huge. That's fantastic. Like owning more units, more doors, it's a huge deal. So if you can get in there and get yourself into a duplex, a fourplex, they're just hard to come by right now. Interest rates are pretty high, and it's not
Right.
easy to get into them. But if you can find one and get in, by all means, that's huge. You're diversifying your money. It, reduces some of that risk. I mean, by all means, please, yeah, get in there.
And now can you also use an FHA loan? Has it also been opened up to FHA and not just conventional?
Yeah, that's kind of the differentiator. So the big news was that conventional is now much less. So most of the time when we'd have a duplex deal come through, we'd have to go FHA. And FHA, there's a funding fee of 1.75, which I'm not a huge fan of. And so FHA has its place. It's meant for people with a credit score 700-ish around there. It'll come out to be a cheaper payment because they give you a break
Okay.
based on your credit score on a lower interest rate and lower mortgage insurance. So it's got its place, but for those that have higher credit, it's really nice to be able to put less down and get into a conventional loan because that's the ideal place that I'd hope everybody gets to at some point is conventional.
Right. Well, there's less fees involved with conventional.
Less fees, yeah, less fees. And then mortgage insurance, you can get rid of it much quicker. So by all means, I would not let it deter you from buying a home if you go FHA because it definitely has its place. But
Right.
for conventional, if you can get in there, I mean, for this specifically, for a lot of people, investors, it's huge.
That's awesome. Or if you're looking, yeah, if you're looking to buy an investment property or you're a first time home buyer and you want to get into a multifamily to start with, to start your wealth that way. It's just interesting because I do have some clients that we're having these conversations. So this is awesome news.
Yeah.
What are some other things that happened in the market this week with Fannie
Oh
Mae?
yeah, more Fannie Mae news. So increased conforming limits. Now this is hot off the press. Like literally, it was emailed. What I heard the rumors, but today, literally hot off the press. So conforming loan limits was 726 before. They increased it to 750.
Okay.
So we're very blessed in Snohomish, Pierce, and King County to have a high balance. So you go up to a conforming loan limit of 750 now. It used to be 726. And
Okay.
then every other counties, but the ones we're blessed with locally, you go into a jumbo loan, which it's just a whole different game, more requirements. It's just a different game altogether. So, and for us locally in Pierce, Snohomish, and King County, rates, especially now with the volatility, rates are rough in that high balance loan. So there's this little middle ground because of the amount of I don't know, the amount of money people make and, just how expensive things are, that we're blessed in those three counties to have this little gap, 726 up to, which is 977, called high balance. So it's a little gap in between a conforming and a jumbo loan. And now they increase conforming to 750. So for the rest of the country, that's huge because you go from conforming to jumbo, which is a whole different game. There's more down payment, more requirements, more everything. What it means for us specifically in our counties is it's better rates for a higher loan amount.
Okay.
So that's really the big thing, is because high balance, it's very risky for mortgage companies right now because they're loss leaders. These mortgage companies know they're going to refinance in a
Mhm.
couple years,
Right.
and yeah, so there's just there's just a higher risk with the understanding of the servicing value in loans is less now. Where before, if you're going to keep a loan for 10 years, they put a lot of weight on servicing value, and now they know they're going to refinance. So for us, it's a good thing, not a huge spread, but something more for those that want to get a better rate in that little price range there.
Well, and I think that there's lots of homes that are for sale in our area in that price point. So knowing that you can get a little bit higher of a loan limit and not pay a higher rate because you're in a high balance loan. I mean, I think that's anything we can do right now to, take it easy on our monthly payments. I think it's good information to share with people.
Yeah, and there's another thing that happened this month, I should say. Furlough is over for student loans. So student loans, now there was this furlough because of COVID. So every time that I was doing the transaction before, you'd see student loans and it'd be a zero balance.
Okay.
And now they're required to pay them back. So for those out there that are in a position of which things could get tougher now. I mean, now you have the student loan. Now your monthly payments are high. You got to pay them back.
Right.
Their savings is down, credit card debt is high.
Right.
So for those out there that own a home, it's a huge opportunity right now. It might seem crazy to refinance and do a cash out refinance, but just throwing out the opportunity out there, these are coming back in a huge way right now. Nobody wants to get rid of their 3% rate for a 7% rate. But if the reality is like your bottom dollar is, it's tough to survive right now, paycheck to paycheck, that's not your overall rate. I mean, your home is at 3%, but if the rest of your debt's at 25%, if you could save $1,000, $2,000 a month right now and consolidate just to have that be a difference in your bottom line for you and your family to live through these tough times. I mean, the reality is it's tough times.
Right.
It's huge right now. So that refinance is a big deal. It's happening right now. And guess what? You sometimes got to take one step back to take two steps forward. If you're saving $1,000, $2,000 a month and you applied that, even if your rate was over 7%, you'd probably pay your home off in less than half,
Right.
14 years, 12 years. And we know rates are going to go down. So it gets you in a solid footing now, and then you could refinance later. So that's huge. And then with you, Kari Rae, too, people are even consolidating and doing step up and being step up buyers. So taking that cash out, paying off their debt, using a down payment to buy a new home, and still coming out in a decent place because the amount of debt coming out or unfortunately that people have taken on. So
Right.
it's a huge thing right now. And it's, I don't see a ton of it personally, but from what I hear from everything else, like, across the country, this is actually becoming a big deal.
Well, I
So,
mean, the way that I look at when I purchased my home is it's my big piggy bank, and I just keep feeding money into my big piggy bank every month. And granted, it'll be better when I am able to refinance, but I mean, if I'm lucky, I'm one person that doesn't have student loans, and I'm so grateful. But if I did, I could see that making sense, that if I had a bunch of equity in my home and I had all these, student loans that I needed to pay off, that, taking that, taking that refinance and taking that equity out of my home to pay that loan would make sense. So I think that that's really creative, and it's a creative way to look at how you can manage your monthly payments. So I'm glad that you mentioned that.
yeah, no harm in no. I mean, the reality is, I understand you have this like my little baby that's at 3% mortgage rate, right? Like, I
Right.
get it, but like life is life, and we have expenses, and everything's expensive, and credit card debt's through the roof. You have a HELOC, heaven forbid, a home equity line of credit,
Right.
meaning that you use a line of credit against your house. Those have gone up significantly. People are struggling out there, so there's no shame in your game, people. Like, figure out you have all this equity in your house, make your life easier for now because you'll refinance later and you'll end up on top. So by all means, like take advantage of your hard-earned money. Your piggy bank is the best piggy bank that exists, Kari Rae. Like,
Right.
I mean, it appreciates at a certain specific amount you borrowed. And I mean, by all means, like take advantage of your hard-earned investment, right?
Right. So I have a question for you really quick. So let's say, so I'm a homeowner and I wanted to go ahead and I found a duplex. There's actually a couple on my street that I'm actually super attracted to, but if it was going to be my primary residence, so if I was going to go ahead and rent out my current home and I bought a duplex to live in one side, I would be able to go ahead and get away with the 5% down. But if it was an investment for me, would I still have to put the 20% down or 15? I mean, give me those differences just really quick.
Yeah, so if you were going to take it as if you were going to live there, then it's considered a primary residence. So
Right.
now you get away with that. As far as an investment property, that would still be 15% down because
Okay.
it's an investment property. But if you're shifting as a primary residence, then you're lucky
And
you
you're
can get away
golden.
with the 5%. Yeah, you're golden.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, that's great. So anybody out there that is thinking about investing their money in a multifamily, if you've got 1 to 4 units, you can still go through a local lender for financing. But if it is over 4 units, then it is a commercial loan. Is that correct, Keelan?
That's a great question. To be honest, I don't know where it caps at. I
Okay.
can't tell you I see more than 4 ever. Like,
Okay. Because
you
I thought
know,
once you hit 4 units or above, then it turns into a commercial loan and it's a different type of loan. It wouldn't be conventional or
I'm
FH.
pretty sure it's over 4. I've heard
Okay.
then it changes also at 8. So, I mean, I've never done over 4. So personally, I couldn't,
Yep.
to each their own. You might find investors that have different things, but at the end of the day, um, you're diversifying your money. If you can get away with that and get some income on your house, like by all means, take advantage.
Get it. Anything else to add this week, Keelan? I think that we've had a good conversation this week.
No, we're good.
Okay.
I think we hit it all. And yeah, I'm excited going forward. There's plenty more news to come.
Great. Awesome. Okay. Well, you have a great weekend. And everybody out there, if you've got any questions for Keelan and I, go ahead and comment below, or you can reach out to us directly. My number is 206-330-6985.
And you can get a hold of me at 206-321-4941.
Okay. Awesome. Well, have a great weekend, Keelan. Bye, everybody.
You too, Kari. See you, everybody.
Bye.